Hiya, so today I'm going to talk about horses that are out grazing and the things that can happen and things that you can do to help your horse in this summer when they spend the majority of their time with their head down on the ground. So he's off a little bit sleepy because we've just finished the session and he's got some kinesio taping, so we'll see how it goes. So when we think about the horses out in summer and spring and the weather changes, often what can happen is this parotid gland can get a little bit swollen. So the first thing we have to think of is glands when they're swollen hurt. So what we don't want to be doing is jabbing our hands into the back of the jaw. And again, often people think that a head issue and your movement of the head is often a pole issue, and the capitis muscles that run along and around and underneath. But often what can be is because the horse is so swollen in the jaw, so that yes action can be affected. So I've got my bones here. So we have the joint between the back of the skull, the occiput, and the atlas here. So the joint between that is the atlanto-occipital joint, simply the S joint. So the horse will put its head up and down. So that can be impaired because it has stuff going on in its throat. And then the next joint we have after that is the atlanto-axial joint. So this is the axis. So this is the second vertebrae that is in the neck. And again, this is the no joint. So when we look at the yes and no joint, and then when we have the other vertebrae here coming further down, you can see they're different because these have a different action, but these two. So we always think it's above, which is the issue, and that's why they can't do it. But often it can be underneath here, and that's why they can't do it. So a really nice technique that I do, because we have the horse's glands here, but we have a lot of lymph nodes and glands going all the way down the neck. We have a lot coming down here, and we're going to work our way down to the neck and through to the pectorals, because these are the parts that get a lot of strain when the horses through summer are eating mainly on the grazing on the ground and not in the hedges or the trees as they may do through autumn and winter. You may also see this slight bulge here, and we often think it's a fat pad, and in some cases it is, but often it can be the latissimus is overworked because they're putting these scapulars like here and it's getting a little bit jammed up there. So a really nice tip we can do, nice and gentle. We think of gravity, so we're going to come down. Like I said, I don't know how easy it's going to be because it's the end of the session. We're going to come down along the neck. Now, you do this a lot slower, but I want to go home and have a cup of tea. So, and then as we come down the neck here, we're going to come into the pectorals. So I always think of the pectorals like a big U shape coming along here. So we have the subclavian part, so we can come down and we can run our hand down here. And then we come into the descending part. And often if you come into the middle, you can just rest your finger here. Can you see it from here? Might want to come round to the front a little bit, maybe see it. And the horses really like this. So what I think of in a muscle, how I remember, is where they're going. So we have the descending coming down, we have the transverse coming across, and we have the ascending or deep pectorals coming here. So first of all, what we want to do is follow on for the subclavian and just drag down a little bit, nice and soft, come into this little bit here. And then when we come onto the transverse, we're going to want to be pulling out and asking for a little lift, because the horses really like this, and I think so he likes that part there. And then we also have the brachialis around this area, so and then to come down to the ascending or the deep pectorals, we're going to give the leg a hug. So we're going to come under like this. Make sure your horse is okay. You know, a lot of horses have issues here for rugs and stuff like that. And we're going to come round, give it a hug, and ask for a little lift. Because they've been putting a lot of strain on the forehand, asking them to take the strain off is a little bit better. And then the other thing you can do, so we can go in behind the elbow. This is a separate video, but this is when I just put stuff together. So we can come into here, up into the elbow. So we're coming like this. We're going up, not across. We're going down and up. And we can just ask for a little space up here. It's like, that's too much. Because when we go up here, we're helping the start of the latissimus muscle here. So that's it. So we can, all I want to know is just, don't always think it's a muscle issue. It could be just a swollen gland issue that gets sore. So just take a little bit more care when you're schooling your horses. If we have rain, and then it's okay, because they may not be able to do the yes and the no because of simply their glands are preventing them. And you can do the exercises. Yes and no, the yes exercise, the nodding, and then we can do the no, but only when this is not. You can see here on him, his is lovely and clear. And remember, we have the auricular part, so right up near the ear, it comes all the way down, and this is not the only salivary gland. We have loads going into the mandible. I think there's 4 big ones in total. Comes into the mandible, comes all the way down here. So even just doing things like this will just help your horse get a little bit of relief there.